What I'd like you to do in this challenge is to write a program that takes in 5 prices of, let's say, Boba. And the prices are randomly assigned between, I don't know, $0 and $10. So probably you're dealing with a float, 10 point whatever, at runtime. So in start, they're randomly assigned at runtime, and then it will print out the average. So it's going to calculate the average of all those prices and print that out. Now, in order to complete this challenge, you might need to Google, how do I randomly assign a number in Unity? You might need to read through a couple code examples and apply them to your situation. Okay, so that's your challenge. Create a program that assigns 5 random Boba prices and calculates the average and prints that out at runtime. All right, do your best. I'm gonna give you a moment to pause if you'd like to, and then I will show you one solution to how to do this. All right. Okie dokie, so we're going to create our Boba calculator, right? So let's go create a new script, and I'm gonna call this Boba Calculator. Now go ahead and open up your Boba calculator script. What we need to get started is we need our Boba prices, right? And luckily they're all the same data type. So just like you saw in the last video, because of the same data type, we can declare them on the same line. So we can say public, and it'll be a float because I want there to be decimals. Public float Boba price 1, Boba price 2, Boba price 3. And there's no problem declaring each Boba price individually on its own line. This just saves you a little bit of time. Boba price 5. Okay, so now we have our 5 Boba prices. And like I said, we need to assign them randomly in start. So all I've done is Google how to assign a random value in Unity. So I love Unity scripting API. So random.value, random.range. Let's go ahead and take a look at random.range. And the important thing when you're reading an example is that you don't get bogged down in exactly what it does. We don't really care. We just want to see the syntax of how it works, but we don't care exactly what they're doing with it. So random.range returns a float within minimum inclusive and maximum inclusive. So the range is inclusive. So if it's 1 to 8, it includes 8. Okay, perfect. So let's look at their example, blah, 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 random.range right here. So it looks like they're saying random.range and they're opening up parentheses, passing in a minimum value and a maximum value. Okay, so let's take what we've learned here and let's apply it to our situation. So I'm gonna say Boba price 1 equals, and we're going to do just what we saw them do. That equals random.range, and they open up parentheses. Now, here's the other thing. You're going to want to get used to reading your tooltip right here. So the tooltip right here says random.range, float min inclusive, float max inclusive. So we know that in these parentheses, it's taking in 2 arguments, 2 floats, the minimum and the max. So for us, that's between 0.0f and the max, which is 10.00f. All right, let's do the same with the other Boba prices. And I could copy and paste this code because it's very similar, but I'm actually a big supporter of when you're this early on in coding of writing everything out. It will help you a lot longer in the long run to write everything out line by line like this versus copying and pasting where you could make a slight error in your syntax. Okay, so now that we have randomly assigned all of our Boba prices at start, the last part of our challenge is calculating and printing out the average. So you might ask yourself, if you're not sure, what is the average? What does the average actually mean? Well, if you do a simple Google search, you'll see that you can calculate the average by adding up all of the numbers and then dividing it by how many there are total. For us, there are 5 total, so we need to add up Boba price 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then divide that number by 5, and that will give us the average. One thing that we can do here, up here, we're declaring public and private variables. When you have public or private, that variable is global to the entire script. But what I'm about to show you is how to create a local variable that's just within a method. What we want is the average. So I'm not going to use public or private. I'm just going to start with the data type, which is a float. And the name of my variable is average Boba price. And I can set that just like any other global variable we've declared before. I can set that equal to whatever it is I want. In this case, I want to add up all the prices and divide them by 5. So I'm going to say Boba price 1 plus Boba price 2 plus Boba price 3 plus boba price 4 plus boba price 5. And now we want to divide it by 5. But if I just divide by 5, I don't know if you remember PEMDAS from when you were in school, PEMDAS. It stands for the order of operations in which a math equation is calculated. So P parentheses E exponents, MD multiplication division, and AS addition and subtraction. So if I just left it right here, it would divide this first since MD comes before AS. So it would divide boba price 5 by 5, and then it would add all of them together, which is what we don't want. We want to calculate the price addition first, so we can put that in parentheses, since parentheses is calculated first, P of PEMDAS, right? So now the boba price addition is in parentheses and then divided by 5. Now all we need to do is print it out. We can say debug.log average price and then append that to average boba price. All right, so hop back into Unity and make sure that that script is actually attached to a game object. So on my cube here, I just want to make sure that at the bottom here, I'm going to delete the Madlib script, 3 dots, remove component, and I'm going to add my boba calculator instead. So they're all 0 at the beginning, and when I hit the play button, they should calculate at runtime. All right, there we go. So if we scroll down, okay, so our boba prices are that is some cheap boba, 0.04 all the way up to 7, so it's randomly calculated, and if we look in our console, the average price is 2.119618. Perfect, so our program is working, and if I hit stop and run it again, we will get a different calculation, a different randomly assigned prices, and a different average. There we go, 57514, and our console is printing out the average boba price is 4.88. Now, one other thing that you might want to do, just as like a little bonus, the average price right here, 4.886295, is too long. We don't have coins that go that small. So I would want to round my average to the 100th place, right? What you could do is Google how to round to nearest 100th Unity, C#, and just see what comes up. Rounding decimals to the nearest 10th. How to round a float to 2 dp stands for decimal points. I'm always a fan of the scripting API, but maybe we can take a look at Unity answers and see what this is. All right, so this person has a very similar problem to us. So if you want the float itself truncated, it's Math.Round your float times 100 divided by 100. So Math.Round is a function that will round whatever float you pass through. So let's take what we've learned here and apply that to our situation. So let's go average boba price equals math.f.round. And we saw them do the average boba. We saw them pass it in and multiply it by 100 and then divide that by 100. We saw them do that. So let's try that. Let's save that script and hop back in and see if that works any better. Okay, here it goes. And in the console, it's printing out 6.3. Interesting. Let's try to run it one more time. 7.32. Okay, so it is rounding to the 100th. I think 6.3, we just kind of got lucky. 7.82, sweet. Awesome. Okay, so that was the challenge of how to calculate the average. There's one last lesson I think we'll do in this, which is like a best practice for variables. One other thing that I want to cover. And that's it. In the next section, we're going to be taking a look at if statements will be the next thing. So good job, and I'll see you in the next one.